Okay, we're going through Fairytale Elements, the actual points of attraction, the centers of gravity that begin to fuel a story. I'm weaving a matrix from the idea of one, from the individuated hero. And this one is element number 14 in the fairy tale that I'm putting together, and it's a big one. It has to do with the idea of apotheosis. Apotheosis is death, or when somebody dies, or some form of finality, a bringing a stop to inertia and a reflection on what once was there and what is not now. One of the best feelings, point of attractions for apotheosis is in the Billy Joe Armstrong lyrics, the Green Day song. When he was little, his dad had died, and his mom yelled to him, and come back down. And he locked himself in his room, and he said, "Wake me up when September ends." And we now have that song codified. Green Day, "Wake Me Up When September Ends." 15 years has gone so fast, 20 years has gone so fast, and yet the memory never fades. The inertia is still there. As we grow and expand and evolve, we have the inner feelings that give word to experience. We learn from these people who have passed away, but it seems to be a crutch or a downfall within a person that you can touch in songs like Blink-182, Adam's song, Pumped Up Kicks, songs that touch on the point of attraction. Remember, we learned how to communicate. We can communicate through "Wake Me Up When September Ends." When you hear that and you think about the people in your life who have passed on, it becomes an end of an era. It makes a legend. It makes an archetype of who passed through. Now, death always is a big thing to deal with because of the energy and emotion that surrounds the idea of loss and the idea of being left on your own. For me, it was my grandma. When she died, everything just seemed to come to a grinding halt. And then one day she wasn't there anymore, and the things I had associated with her, you couldn't get back. My mammy, when her son died, she says there's some things since he died that I don't remember anymore. I'm having trouble putting my memories together. And likewise for me, people who I haven't seen in a long time, when you're in their presence, when you're in their understanding, in their matrix, you see how much power is in a person's aura, how much influence they have, that as Cinderella, you really don't know what you got until it's gone. So this often happens in a story at a time that is very transformative. Remember, everything works in paradox. So what is sending the one away, what is transitioning them out of their life, is something that they're not ready for on this side, or they have reached the end of a completion that, at least to them, it only made sense in the way that you don't always understand the health of your body, but you do contribute to the health of your body. So they were pushed to a point, especially with my grandma and her conservative understanding of the world versus the way it was evolving and expanding. She couldn't take a black president, and she lived a little bit after he had gone into office, but the fracture was there, and the divide within her mind then takes all the other Half-Life inspirations, and like in Jesus' field, the weeds are pulled. Now there is a freedom in allowing a person their transition to pass on, to die, but where this really hits is in the heart of the hero. I wrote a song, Grandma's Piano, it's just a prop. I don't know when these feelings stop. I stop looking out there and into my heart, and that is when the healing starts. And so we know that everybody is going to be infinite, but they're also going to be finite, as you know them in the Bible. A man's days are numbered to about 100 years. And there are those critical deaths in life that cause a person to reflect in such a way, especially if it's somebody very close to you, and to feel that absence. You really feel that absence. It consumes you, and a lot of times it's inertia already hard at work. So a person goes into the day after a loss, and nothing really makes sense. They're sort of just hanging on. And you feel for those people very much, but all you can really do is resonate with what their feelings are. Because it's something from within that they have to come to grips with, come to an understanding about life, and why death is part of the story, why death is part of the process. So once the death occurs, there is another side to the wavelength, in that you have to pick up the pieces and carry on and move on in life. And so this process is a lifelong process. You never truly, anytime those memories come back, the resonance of the downfall for a very prominent figure in life. For us right now, this is Michael Jackson, this is Robin Williams, this is Nelson Mandela. And Apotheosis is the concept that as one goes out, one comes in, or something new comes into play. That a chapter is embolized by the lifetime of a person. Their death actually is an end of the era, but actually a beginning of a new one. Last year, Lou Reed died of Velvet Underground, and for me it was really profound in that all the bands that he had influenced go up through, and my friend Sean and my cousin Jada came up, and I just was understanding that energy so much, of what Lou Reed did to music and what his influence has done to me. And we wrote a song the day that Lou Reed died, and it felt right. It felt like a period of transfer. So you always find your footing after the center of gravity leaves, but it is something that is always on your heart, and you'll never forget. Apotheosis happens within the character's journey to show a sense of direction as well. So all things are in serenade, and the character must deal with what's lost to move to and evolve to where he or she is meant to be.